Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Awaken Your Soul's Journey podcast. My name is Angela, and I am so glad that you were able to join us today to meet June Edward, because June has been a psychic since she was a child, and she didn't realize she was also a medium until later in her life. And some of her gifts have been passed on since her mother was also a medium. And she also passed to the other side herself when she was 27 years old and came back to this side by choice. And she can offer firsthand experience that life after life does exist. And she has a 100% success rate in bringing through souls from the other side to give closure and to help loved ones heal on both sides. And her sold out group readings can help give insight as to what's going on in your life and help to see what the universe has in store. And so she has some special gifts, works directly with angels, guides, and departed souls. And combined, these tools have made her a very strong and accurate psychic and trance medium as well, able to bring through validating details to prove the connection and messages from the other side. And I love this because I know early on in my grief, it was really comforting to have an evidential medium do some messages for me. And so I love what psychic mediums do. And I just love the whole idea that people can get that sense of life after life and have that comfort. So thank you so much for what you do. And thank you for taking the time today to join us.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And so I read a little bit in your bio, but just give us a little more background on what it is that you do.
So basically, other than helping people guide them in this lifetime when they're having difficulties, I connect them with their loved ones on the other side. And, they're the same people there that they were here. They just don't have the body anymore. Because realistically, we are not the suit that sits here. We are the soul that's inside. And I think it's great. And I think it's amazing that, when they pass to the other side, they're still the same. The problem with that, however, is that if they didn't get closure on something when they were here, they still don't have closure on the other side. They don't miraculously understand things and change into different people or anything like that. So it's wonderful for me when I can bring one of your loved ones through and I can heal not just you, but them on the other side as well.
Oh, beautiful. I love that. Yeah.
It's very fulfilling.
Hmm. Yeah. And I got a sense that, that they're very eager in many circumstances to come through. And
So what's tough for them, it's like a two-way mirror. They can see you, they can hear you. If they can slow their energy down enough, they can touch you and move things. And they're like, I'm here, I'm here. They want you to know that they're here.
yeah, it's such a wonderful thing. And I know that some people are, afraid of that. They've been taught maybe through their religion or through their upbringing that it's evil or, it's
Sad, isn't it? Sad, very
Mhm.
sad. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We believe what we've been taught or what we experience. And at some point in time, almost everyone's going to experience something that is outside of what they've been told. And, we're here living a 3D experience. We're here for a lot of different reasons, but we have a brain in our head. And our brain is nothing more than a massive computer processing all your information. But your brain has a specific job, and your brain's job is to protect you. How does it do that? It does it by creating fear. So most people are living their life and making their decisions based on fear. And when you do that, it's literally a 50-50 crapshoot. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. And you're always questioning yourself. When you learn how to get in touch with your soul, who you truly are, that's that gut instinct, that's that knowing. Every decision you make, you don't question, and it's always the right decision.
Yeah, I love that. That's beautiful. And it is true. There is a lot of fear, that's been generated. And I heard a message, and I'm not sure who this comes from, but you can, if you're living in love, you can't feel fear. If you're in fear, you're not in love. So it's like choosing that love side to keep yourself out of the fear.
I think that the opposite of love is hate. It's not. The opposite of love is fear. And fear is a mechanism, like I said, it's there to protect you, but it's also created through religions and things to help control people. That's what it's all about. You're controlled through fear. And you cannot have fear and love experienced in the same moment. It's impossible. You either have to be in one or the other. And love, whether you believe it or not, is the highest vibration of all. And when we talk about vibration, frequency, energy, we are talking about all the same things, just different words for them. And love is the highest vibration of all. The two things you take with you when you go are love and, well, not love, but all your feelings and all your knowledge you take with you. I used to say it was love and knowledge, but since I do this work, I've brought them through from the other side, and they're still living in anger, hurt, remorse. So you bring through all of your feelings with you.
Interesting.
Yeah, it can be difficult.
And I understand that on the other side, they continue working.
Yes and no. We learn our lessons much faster here than we do on the other side, and much faster still within relationships. Hence the reason my book, All's Fair in Love and Karma, because it talks about the 5 lessons that your soul has to learn in order to advance. And they have to keep reinforcing these lessons, especially if you haven't learned them all. So they do learn, but not very quickly. Time is very different. The faster you move, the slower time is. And they're moving, if you think of the speed of light, somewhere around 160,000 miles per second. And so it's about every 350 to 400 years of our time is 1 year for their time on the other side. Wow. Another reason why we learn so quickly here than on the other side. And some people want to learn on the other side and some don't, some souls. I had a sister that died about, oh my goodness, she must be 16 or 17 years ago now. Time's gone by so quickly. And I was her legal guardian for most of her life. And she resented me for that. And it took her about a year to come through to me from the other side and apologize and let me know that she had been working with the angels and the guides on her soul as to why she did the things she did, because she did not want to come back and have those experiences again in another life, and apologized to me and told me that she was just very jealous and very angry, and she, would project it and take it out on me. Yeah, it takes a while.
And we keep coming back here.
Well, we come back for lots of reasons. When you don't have a body, you can't experience a lot of things. You can't taste food, you can't smell, you can't have sex, you can't do a lot of wonderful things that you like to enjoy. So it's a little mini vacation when we come back. We also come back to collect our karma and pay our karmic debts. And karma is something that you create in this lifetime. If you do something to someone else that you do not have remorse and you do not make amends for, you owe that person in another lifetime. So they come back to collect that. And it's not a bad thing. Everybody thinks karma is a bad thing. It's not. Suppose you stole money from someone in a past lifetime. They're not necessarily just going to come and steal money from you in this lifetime. They might come back and be your boss and teach you the value of money. Okay. And we also come back to help each other. And that's one of the big things that people forget. We're all here to help each other learn these lessons so that we can advance our soul. There's absolutely nothing ever that is negative or detrimental. And that's, it's a hard thing to say when you're in the middle of it. Okay. Right. But everyone has 20/20 vision and can look back and see how when something they thought at the time was terrible in their life happened, something good came out of it. It always does. And if you're not on the path you're supposed to be on in this lifetime, because you chose this life, you chose this path, if you're not on that path, then the universe steps in and puts you back on your path. If you're supposed to move from one coast to another because of a job, and it's not just the job, that's where you're going to meet your significant other and have children and blah, 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 maybe rescue some person, right? And you're not going because I don't want to move that far. I don't want to be away from my friends and family. Well, the universe will step in and make something happen that you will go. Maybe they'll burn your house down. And you'll be like, oh my God, it was terrible. My house burnt, but I wouldn't have ended up here. I wouldn't have met you.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So there's reasons for everything, and it's always for your highest and best. Nothing is ever happening to you. It's always happening for you. That's the difference.
Yeah. 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 And I truly believe that. It's true. But it is hard to take, especially when you lost someone you love. It's really hard to see that as something happening for you.
It's very hard on us, not so hard on them. Trust me, they're in a wonderful place. It's quite amazing on the other side, and they can do anything and everything they want. However, one of the reasons they wait so long to reincarnate, and there are exceptions to everything, but for the most part, they wait that long because they want to wait until everyone that they were connected to here and everybody that's remembering them here is gone. Mm-hmm. Then they reincarnate. But if you're here stuck in grief, they can only live vicariously through us without a body. So if you're stuck in grief, they're going to be stuck in grief with you. And you want them to be able to enjoy the other side. It's like telling somebody you don't want them to go live at Disney World. It's amazing on the other side. But when you're stuck, they unfortunately will be stuck because all you have to do is think about them and they show up immediately.
Mm-hmm. Fascinating. We talk about energy and that everything is energy.
Absolutely.
And so tell us a little bit more about how energy affects our life.
So people don't understand energy because they can't see it. Mm-hmm. But you can't see the air you're breathing and it's there, right? You can't see the microwaves cooking your food, but that's what's happening. Energy affects everything, everywhere. Everyone's walked into a funeral and felt that low energy, right? Everyone's walked into a birthday party or a wedding and felt that high, elated energy. So energy affects everything. And we as human beings vibrate in the 500 range. Once you go to the other side, you're up in the tens of thousands because the speed of light is 160 million miles per second. That's what they're vibrating on the other side. So everyone that's in your life right now is on your same energetic vibration. That's how it works. So if you're stuck in a low energetic vibration, then everybody that's around you is in that low energetic vibration. If you want to improve everything in your life, you need to raise your vibration. And then the people on the low vibration are going to drop off, but you're going to attract people on that higher vibration. And in order to get in with the flow of the universe and have the law of attraction kick in, you have to have that high vibration. And then the trick to maintain it is actually to balance your energy, because everything in the universe has to stay in balance. This is why you have day and night, left and right, good and evil. Everything has to stay balanced. And if you cannot balance your own energy, once you've gotten into the law of attraction, if you don't balance it, you crash. That's the only way to stay balanced. And you'll know whether or not your energy is balanced. If you're being affected by full moons, things like that, any changes, environmental changes, then your energy is not balanced. And it doesn't mean you're not going to enjoy your life. It just means that the highs are not so high and the lows are not so low. Everything's just amazing all the time.
So what advice can you give people wanting to raise their vibration?
So there's different ways to raise your vibration. Obviously, laughing and having a good time, that raises your vibration. But the fastest way to exponentially raise your vibration and maintain it is through meditation. So if you meditate properly, your soul is way too big for your body. Some of it's in your body, some of it is over your body that people can see, and they call it an aura. But the majority of your soul is actually in that lowest level of heaven, the fifth dimension. And it orchestrates the timing of all the events in your life, and it actually has all the knowledge of all your lifetimes. So when you meditate, you're not just getting in touch with that part of your soul that's inside your body, you're getting in touch with the soul that's in the fifth dimension at that extremely high vibration. So it's automatically going to raise your vibration here. And the benefits of meditation are just unbelievable. There's lots of scientific evidence to prove it. It speeds up the molecular structures in your body, so your cells turn over faster, you look younger, you sleep better, you need less sleep, you have more energy, you start looking younger, you're happier, you're calmer, it lowers blood pressure. There's so many benefits to it. It's unbelievable. That alone is a reason to learn how to meditate properly.
Right. Yeah. So I know there's lots of different types of meditation out there.
So there's lots of guided meditations and meditations to do different things. It's like I teach a meditation on people how to meet their soul and how to get in touch with their spirit animal, things like that. But when you're just meditating for yourself to get in touch with your own soul, you just want to find some nice, relaxing music or whatever it is that you need. You don't want a guided meditation because you're going to be listening to that guided meditation. You know, I always tell my students, if you need to do it a couple of times just so you get the feeling, go ahead. But then just put on some music and make sure that it's a high megahertz, something around, I meditate around 1,900 to 1,000 megahertz, just to raise that level. And then you always have to make sure that you're protecting yourself. I call in Archangel Michael to surround me. I actually put directions to meditate properly in all of my books because I think it's just so important, and tell everyone to read it until you've set it to your memory so that you don't forget, especially that protection. That is the biggest part. But 20 minutes is what people should be meditating for when they're starting out, 3 times a day, no more, no less. Because until they're proficient at it, it's going to take them 18 or 19 minutes to get in touch with their soul. And if you meditate for more than that 20 minutes, you become ungrounded. You can start astral projecting and you end up being an airhead for the rest of the day. And if people don't know what that means, I was making meatballs in my house one day and I said, they need another 10 minutes. I'll sit down and just meditate for 10 minutes. Well, an hour later, I got up. I'm like, oh, geez, an hour went by. Went upstairs, started the laundry, came downstairs, noticed that the oven was still on. I'm like, oh, I forgot to shut the oven off when I took the meatballs out. Then I was like, I never took the meatballs out. This is what being an airhead is. You just still floating around on the other side. Not enough of your soul has just realized it's in the body. So that's why it's important. Yeah.
Okay, so now, I'm just feeling into the group and really, I think a lot of people are in fear over, if I meditate and I don't protect myself properly, maybe I don't know how to do that. Maybe I can't meditate 3 times a day for 20 minutes. Like,
you know what? Anybody can do anything they want to do. If you sit there and tell me that, oh, maybe I can't do it, then it's because you don't want to do it. It's that simple. I was running 5 businesses at one point in time. And I started getting up at 4:30 in the morning because it was the only time I could meditate and then go to the gym. That was my time. So every morning. And I always recommend that at least one of those meditations that you do every day, you should always do one first thing in the morning when you get up because it sets the tone for your day. But always do one in the same place as well, because your guides and loved ones from the other side, they'll be sitting there waiting for you before you get there. Trust me, they're there. They're waiting. They're like, where is she? Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And it's cumulative too. As much as you think, you might not be connecting, you are. And if something pops in your head that you're not thinking about, I mean, if you start thinking about laundry, dinner, just let those thoughts go by and keep focusing on that little pinpoint of light, because there's always a little pinpoint of light when you close your eyes. And if something pops in your head that you weren't thinking about, then that's something from the other side. That's a message that you're trying to get to you. And then once you start meditating, you're going to notice that during the day you start getting your ears will start ringing or humming. And because your brain is a computer, that is literally a download of information from the other side. They're giving your brain a nice little upgrade. And then at some point in time, you're going to have information that you didn't realize you had. You're like, da 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 da. How do I know that? I don't know how I know that, but I know that. And that's where it's coming from.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
So one of the things that I think people question about is, are ghosts real?
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, it's the soul that was inside the body. So again, as a living being, we're vibrating in the 500 range. When your soul leaves your body, if you do not go into the light, you're going to vibrate at the same vibration that you did prior to passing. You just don't have a body. And I mean, there's billions of ghosts everywhere. I had a restaurant that was haunted by a previous cook. And he, they would see him, full-fledged apparition. The bartenders saw him, the one of the cooks in the kitchen saw him. He was freaking out my employees. And I went in there one day and called him out and stood in front of me and told me who he was and how he died and how excited he was that it was a restaurant again. But I'm like, listen, I said, every morning you're leaving all my lights on every night. You can't do that. It costs a lot of money. I tried to get him to move into the light. He refused. He wanted to stay there. So I said, listen, I'll make a deal with you. You can stay as long as you don't turn the lights on unless it's an emergency, and you don't let my employees see you anymore. You can't do that. And he agreed. And sure enough, there was only 2 more times that the lights came on while I had it. And both of those times there were refrigeration units. One went down and one they didn't plug back in after they washed the floor. But they're everywhere. And, I did some work on missing person cases and murder cases and things prior. And if someone had passed away and they're missing, unless their soul wanted me to know and let me know that they had passed, if they had not gone into the light, I couldn't tell if they had passed or not, because they're the same energetic vibration as a living being.
Mm.
They just didn't know, and they'd been stuck here for a couple hundred of our years.
Mm. Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're real. Yeah. So keep in mind that your loved ones from the other side, for the most part, are keeping an eye on you as well. Okay. I've had people contact me that they know they got a spirit in the house, and sure enough, who shows up? Mom. Mom shows up to save the day from the other side, right? It's just like people that have babies, and all of a sudden, they're getting stuff on the baby monitor. Oh my God, there's something there. There's something there. Who is it usually? The grandmother, the mother, the grandfather. They are always watching over you. This is why they don't reincarnate until everybody they know is long gone, because they don't want to be forgotten. Everything that you do when you go, they're not at the cemetery, trust me, but when you go and you put stuff and flowers on the grave and you're remembering them, they love that. They absolutely love that. They used to say, set an extra plate at the dinner table and they'll come join you for dinner, and they absolutely will. They're not going to eat the food, but they're going to live vicariously through you. So if you're making a Thanksgiving turkey and you're enjoying it, they're going to remember, oh God, I remember how good her gravy was, or her stuffing, and they are living it and enjoying it through you. So yeah, they're all around, and they're there to help you all the time. They really are.
Mm-hmm. I'm assuming that a lot of people come to you to connect with their loved ones or get messages from their loved ones.
They do. Yeah. People come to me for everything. There's probably not much I haven't heard or seen, but yes, a lot of people will come to me because they want to talk to somebody that passed, or they want to get closure from them. I've had people contact me because they can't find the safe deposit key and they need to talk to somebody on the other side to find out where is it.
Right.
And lo and behold, it's in a box they can't get to anymore.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, they're very helpful on the other side. And like I said, they want to talk. They want to talk more than you do. And it's interesting because when I do bring them through from the other side, you might be asking something and they're not going to pay attention sometimes to what it is you want to know. They want you to listen to them and what their concerns are. And a lot of times it's the family album, the family cookbook, the family recipes, the family. Those are the things that are really important to them on the other side. Yeah, they're still living, this family, this life that they had on the other side for quite a few hundred years of our time.
Mm.
They're very connected.
Yeah. Yeah. And I assume because the stories that what you're explaining here is very specific, that there's a lot of evidence, because we talk about going to mediums and making sure that we have
Right. It's like, I don't know these people. If you ask me to bring through your grandmother, I don't know her at all. All I can do is describe her and give you the information that she's giving me. and she'll give me something that you will recognize specific to her that there's no way I could know it. It has to be her.
Right.
I remember doing a show one time, and that's the problem with a lot of mediums is their ego gets in the way and they don't want to say something and be wrong, right? I was doing a huge show one day, and the guy in the front row was a widower, wanted me to bring through his wife. And I'm standing there, and all I'm seeing is two hands coming out, holding up this dress. And I'm hearing prom dress. And I'm like, oh my God, do I tell him she didn't come through? What do I do? I'm like, I got to give what I get. Got to give it. Got to give it. So I said, listen, this is all I'm getting. I have two hands that just came out. I'm seeing this dress, and I'm hearing that it's a prom dress. Guy starts bawling his eyes out. He goes, yeah, that's my wife. He goes, that was her favorite saying every time she left the house. I'm off like a prom dress. Random and crazy, meant nothing to me, but it meant the world to him. And then she was able, now that she had made it clear to him that it was her, she was able to give me more information, and then had lots of information for him and his children. Yeah.
Wow. That's so cool.
Yeah, it is. That's what they do.
Yeah, and I'm sure that it gives you a lot of affirmation too, because I know that often mediums will talk about, that imposter syndrome, or just questioning after a reading, even though they intuitively know that it's right.
I think it comes from lack of experience.
Mm.
The reality of it is, if you are explaining the person correctly and you are confident in your own skill level, you know that the person's coming through is the person that you asked for. I've had, occasion where someone would ask for their father. There was one I'm thinking specifically. She asked for her father, brought them through, describe them. And she's like, oh, I don't know. I think maybe it's my uncle. And so a lot of mediums will go, oh yeah, it must be your uncle. No, I know you asked for your father, and I know that's who shows up. So as I continue to give her information, she's like, oh yeah, that's definitely my father. Because they can come through any way they want. And what I've found is they come through either the way they looked prior to passing, so that I can describe them properly, or the way they looked the best in this lifetime, when it was the best of their lives. My mom was 93 when she passed. And just so you know, there's no accidents. Both of my parents passed on the same day, the same age, 1 year apart. No accidents. But she comes through to me at the age of about 18 or 19, roller skating, because that was the best time of her life. She was a roller skating messaging girl in Chicago, and she must have had a blast. This is how she comes through all the time to me. And I know it's my mom. I know her energy. Yeah. So sometimes it's challenging for me to, and some of them, they move so quickly on the other side at that speed. A lot of them have not mastered slowing their energy down enough to be able to speak. So it's all sign language. I've got to, interpret everything that they're showing me to get the message. And the ones that have slowed themselves down enough to speak still talk so fast. Most of the time I have to let them just talk through me, because I couldn't repeat them as fast as they're talking.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And when you say that you see them, I know a lot of people wonder about that. Like, did they just, show up?
I see them the same as a human being. In fact, I was in the grocery store one day, and I've been trained so that I turn it on or turn it off. They're not allowed to come to contact me unless it's an emergency if I'm not working. So I'm in the grocery store, shopping, and I walked by the door, and I should have known by picking up the energy, although I couldn't quite tell if he was real or not. He kind of looked like an old drunk bum at the front door inside. And I gave him a second look. And because I did, he knew I could see him. And he's like, you can see me. I know you can. You can hear me. And I'm like, listen, I'm not working. And he got angry. And there was a display of hot dogs and hamburger rolls at the door. And he picked a package up and he threw it at me. And it only went maybe about 3 feet, but the poor girl at the register saw it come off the shelf and go on. And she's like, oh my God, did you see that? And I'm like, yep. And I kept walking.
Wow.
Yeah. So usually I just blind eye and ignore, and Yeah, unless it's an emergency. So I have what's known as a gatekeeper on the other side. And anybody that is a medium and does this work has a gatekeeper. And his job is to not let them come through if I'm not working. And if I am working, to line them up in the order that they're supposed to be coming through. So I know for the person, that's their person. And, we are always in control. You are always in control. So, if you want to talk to your dad, you don't want anybody else to come through and you protected yourself, that's who you ask for. So you are always in control of the other side. But in an emergency, he's allowed to let people through. And it's only happened twice. I've had 2 souls that have come through. That one was a friend's wife. She had passed about 6 months earlier. And I mean, this was the big joke because I was in the shower when she showed up. I turned around. I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing here? And she was distraught because she's like, she knew her husband was going to try and commit suicide. And she's like, you've got to go to him. And I'm like, oh God, what do I do? Okay, yeah, I'll take care of it. And I'm like, I'm leaving. I'm got a plane to catch in 3 hours.
Mm.
So I called him on the phone and I told him that I would be back Monday and I'm going to come over for coffee first thing in the morning, blah, blah, blah. How you doing? So first thing Monday morning, I went over to see him and I said, listen, Peggy came to see me on Friday. He goes, yeah, my brother too. I'm like, okay. I said, you were thinking of killing yourself. And he started crying. And he goes, yep, she knew. She told you. She told my brother. He goes, I just don't know why I'm here anymore. So we had a nice talk. He ended up watching one of my dogs for me for a while. And yeah, he stayed here a couple more years.
Mm. Wow.
Yeah, they come through when it's important, when they need to. They're always watching.
Mm. Beautiful. So tell everybody how they can get a hold of you.
Very easy. They can go to my website. It's just my name, JuneEdward.com. There's no S in there, just JuneEdward.com. There's links to all my books. There are 4 books. One of them is a journal. There are videos that you can watch. Some of them are from my students, their testimonials. There is a free webinar you can sign up for to learn a little bit more about energy and how that works. I do have a 7-week online program called the Relationship Mastery Program that teaches people how to get in touch with their soul, how to change their energy, how to maintain the law of attraction and balance their energy, and how to learn the 5 lessons that they're here to learn for their soul, which is self-worth, trust and communication, unconditional love, money and balance, because money is energy. That's why it's called currency, and patience. And when they learn all those things and they can see their life from a different perspective, I also teach them how to talk with the angels and how to converse with them, because they're always here to help us, but they talk in binary code and numbers. And if you don't ask, they can't help. That's their rule. And they can schedule an appointment with me if they'd like as well. And I do, clients all over the world. So if you would like a Zoom meeting, you can just request that, or if automatically you're in another country, you'll get a Zoom meeting. But JuneEdward.com.
Very
And
cool.
if you have questions, I'm there to answer the questions as well.
Yeah. And is there anything else you'd like to add before we wrap this up?
Don't live in fear. Live in love. Know that everyone on the other side is really there to work with you, waiting for you when it's your time, enjoying your life with you. Live your life in love, not fear. You can't change things in your life that you can't change. So you just have to learn how to deal with things and know that it's happening for a reason and something good will come out of it. So live your life in love.
Love that. Thank you so much again for taking the time today.
No, my pleasure. You're very, very welcome. I appreciate everyone that's listening. I appreciate it.
Thanks everyone for watching, and bye for now.